Hey everybody, Eric here in the garden today. Very chilly day, temperatures only in the 50s, not getting a lot done in the garden. The purpose of this video is going to show you the pruning that we finished up yesterday. I had hoped to get the whole garden pruned and then with the anticipation of this rainy weather, put down some fertilizer. I'll do a separate video on that. I was pruning the last rose bush just about at sunset. So at least I got the pruning done. I'll show you the results of that. Did not get a chance to put the fertilizer down, and today it's raining too much of a heavy mist. I'm just going to wait till tomorrow, and we'll do a separate video on that. I did get a little bit done in the garden today, and these are maintenance things you can do after pruning or just kind of getting your garden ready. As far as I'm concerned, I do have a shallow well pump for the irrigation system in my lawn. That's an old one I need to throw away that actually froze. I forgot to drain it. You can actually see the big crack on the side. I forgot to drain it in the fall like you're supposed to. So then I put this one in on my own. I did properly drain that this past fall and the last couple of falls. A little bit of a pain to get it reprimed. There's a plug in the bottom. You put that back in and when you prime the pump again, and that thing is working. So I got the pump going. I had to put a little bit of air in the pressure tank itself to get it up to 28 psi. But that thing's running well. What I did was I ran through all the zones in my lawn to make sure any of the sprinkler heads that need to be replaced, I know where to do that. And there was one in the back that was busted. So I'll tackle that over the next couple of weeks. First things first, the garden itself looking pretty good. I kind of ran out of time, so I didn't get to do this with all of them, but you can definitely tell the difference in terms of pruning. And what I tried to do on some of them was strip the leaves. I didn't quite get to this Randy Scott. A lot of the leaves looked good, but if any of these bushes had black spot on them, or some of the leaves came out in January and they were just really small, and then you could see new growth behind it, like on this Sunny Sundays here. This new growth I didn't want to get rid of, but any older leaves, you can see I missed one here. Here's a good example. So we've got new growth here and some older leaves that are a couple months old that have black spot on them. I tried to remove those as best I could. As far as pruning goes, these are mature bushes here. This here is about 40 inches, that metal conduit pipe to hold it up, so it gives you some reference. Roughly, these are pruned to about 36 inches. Again, I did a light trimming, so they were between 5 and 8 feet tall in the fall. I pruned most of this down to 4 to 5 feet in the fall, just so they wouldn't sway as much, and then I did the rest this spring. So looking pretty good in the garden. On some of these, again, not only did I prune the bushes themselves, but I stripped any diseased leaves that I saw. And I of course missed some. Here's some good leaves here, but this is what I'm talking about. Anything that had black spot or anything like that, I got rid of. Most of it is in a pile over there, if you can see in the far part of the yard. I'm planning on burning that, so you don't want to compost that. It was too much to put in our trash can, and we don't have debris pickup in the spring until too late. Usually in the fall we have it, and I try to get rid of most of my debris there. You will see some leaf litter on the ground. I'll try to pick that up here in the coming day, and when I go to spray these plants, whenever we get a dry spell, I will spray with a contact fungicide, the canes, the leaves, and any leaf litter on the ground. So everything's looking pretty good. I want to make one point before we switch over to some maintenance issues in the garden. You prune based on what the bush is telling you. So those mature bushes over there, it's pretty easy. You cut down to 36 inches and you call it a day. There's other ones I didn't really take too much off. This is St. Patrick, and you might say, well, Eric, that's really short. It was short to begin with. It got planted last summer. So on a bush that's not as established, I just trim off anything that's dead. So those outside canes, the tips, if they're showing any sign of dieback due to cold or disease or anything like that, I just give them a light haircut. And so again, you see these bushes are much smaller, but that's because they're not as mature. Same type of thing, this Double Delight, this headliner over here. This looks like it's been pruned low. This is still about 20 to almost 24 inches in cane length. So they're still pretty big, especially compared to what I grew up north. But this was just cutting back the dead. So the point I'm trying to make is if you have a mature bush like this Mr. Lincoln, that's rocking and rolling, any of those beds over there, you prune back to 36 inches and you have a lot to work with. If you have less established beds, it's more just a light haircut. So you're just cutting back the ends of the cane, wherever the dieback goes to. You go farther down the cane until you reach green, and you want that white pith. Right here you want to be fully white and no brown in it. So you'll see that depending on the maturity of the bushes, some are not as tall as the others, and that's okay. You just don't want to hack a new bush any more than you have to. Last thing I want to talk about is, if you look really carefully in this video, you notice my drip irrigation setting is running. I'm pleasantly surprised that none of these are messed up through the winter. So just kind of go around to each one. If you have drip irrigation, see that it's running. This one was all the way over here. I must have done some weeding. It wasn't in the right spot. So this is a really good time to get those emitters exactly where you want them to be, because of course you don't have a lot of leaves on the canes at this time of year. You can get in there and make adjustments as needed. So again, this one here is a little bit farther away from the bush than I'd like it to be. I just move it over and make adjustments as see fit. The other thing you can do with your drip system, not only am I checking each emitter, and it's a pretty easy thing to do. When I show you these bushes in the summertime, it would be hard to get in there because the bushes get so big. At the ends of each bed, I've got a cap on them, and I open this up and I flush the line out. So this is just routine maintenance. All the emitters are working. All the emitters are in the right spot. But again, if I need to make an adjustment with this one, very easy to get in here with no leaves and not a lot of growth yet. You can see it's a beautiful pruning job on this Veteran's Honor. Some of these canes are, it's hard to tell on here, but probably the width of 4 pencils, this one right here. So pretty big canes on that. I know we showed some videos earlier about any concern, but here's those dormant bud eyes that were farther down on the cane that were not affected by the cold weather. So that's certainly good news. So I'll leave you a comment below. The plan is to hopefully fertilize tomorrow. I'll go over what I put down. I do a combination of organics. I also put down a combination of a slow release Osmocote, a generic, and we'll talk about that. Hope everybody's staying healthy. I know we're going through a lot in the country with what's going on, but gardening is a good thing. You can certainly get out there and get some fresh air. You're not with other people, so you're not putting anybody at risk. So this is a good hobby to keep doing and keep your mind off on what's going on, but at the same time not impacting other people's lives in terms of health. Have a great day, and as always, I appreciate the new followers.